all about upgradation. So you have any questions here? So it goes 11.9 to 12. I think you have to see the maintenance pack. But the way you apply this maintenance pack or whether this AD patch is the same, right? Using AutoPatch utility. But the only thing is that maintenance pack is going to take its own time, which is a very big patch, the release update patch. Later you can also see, I think for that you have to give some time, not immediately, some time. If you want to see 12.11 to 12.13, so maybe after some times you see that. We'll go ahead with other topics. When we are talking about 12.11 to 12.13, again you have to apply some more patches, because you cannot directly upgrade from 12, you know, that 12.0 to 12.13 or 11.9 to directly 12.13. You have to come to what? 12.11. Correct? So whether it is from 11.9, that means 11.9 or 10, to directly release 12, it is 12.11, or directly from release 12, that is 12.0x, release 12, that is 12.11. And the next part is your 12.1. Here mainly that your technology stack, everything is already ready. You just need to apply 12.13 release update patch. So the major step here is that here you for this is up to the DOT. Now to make your 12.11, 12.13, okay, 12.11, 12.13, you have to apply 12.13 release update patch. 12.13 release update pack. This one patch you have to apply. The patch is this 9239093. This is a patch. Again, this patch is going to take lots of time. Again, this patch is going to take again lots of time. Here itself you are spending time for which patch? Maintenance patch. Again, this patch is again going to take lots of time. And for this patch, the prerequisite patch, for your 12.11 maintenance patch, what is the prerequisite patch? We already discussed ADB, right? For this, it is 12 ADB delta 3. This is the prerequisite patch. So that means you cannot, even you cannot directly apply this 12.13. This you cannot directly apply. This is a prerequisite. So one more time again we'll see again all the detailed steps, inshallah we'll discuss again. 12.11 to 12.13, but these are the major things are there again. Again you have to put some more patches in. Okay. Then it is going to be 12.13. So of course finally you can upgrade your 11.9 to 12.13, the latest 12.13. If you look at the basic technology stack components, the technology stack components of 12.11 and 12.13 same technology stack components. Okay. But there is a change in the technology stack components from 12.0x to 12.1. And of course, there are major changes are there from 11i to this, isn't it? Just one example, if you look at in 11i, your application technology stack components are what? 806, right? 806 home. And if you look at in 12.0, it is what? 10.1.3, isn't it? 10.1.3, correct? 10.1, 3 or 2? 2, sir. 2. Okay. Sometimes I forget you how to read. 12.1, 10.02. And then again, if you look at 12.1, it is again same 10.1.2.3. But again, if you see in 10.1.3 also it is same actually. The technology stack between 12.1.1 and 12.1.3. So there is a change of application, not technology stack. There is a change of technology stack from 11i to R12 and 12.0x to 12.1. Yes, there is a change in the technology stack. Example is this. And of course, even for IS also, so it was IS. What was the version? 8i in 11i. This is we are talking about 11i. And in again in 12, what is that? 10.1.3. And here it is again 12.1.3.4. So okay, got it. So you just have to, don't worry about the technology stack. When you're upgrading from 12.1.1 to 12.1.3, the technology stack is same. You just need to upgrade your application by applying this 12.1.3 release update pack. And before that, this is the prerequisite patch. But again, there is a big change. Again, there is a change. As well, there is. Okay, so there is a change from 11i to 12.0 to 12.1. There is a change, but within 12, isn't it? There is no change, major change, right? Like these are releases. Like for example, 12.0, 1, 2, 3. It was up to 6. Same technology, same. So here again 12, 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3. Same technology. But again, there is going to be a major technological change from 12.1 to the next 12.2. There's a major change, major. And here in 12.2, Oracle has replaced the both complete technology stack with what? WebLogic server. Here they are using total WebLogic server. 10.1.3 is totally replaced by your IS is totally replaced by WebLogic server in 12.2. So you have any questions on this part of the upgradation, you can ask me. Okay. Now we have to go and then for the next topic, performance tuning, we are going to talk about. So we have been discussing upgradation from last sessions. We discussed complete what is upgradation, 11i to R12, all the steps. Okay. You saw the database upgradation, and now the application upgrade is going on. Later you can even see 12.1.1 to 12.1.3. Okay, so that's it for upgradation, and now we are going to talk about Oracle E-Business Suite performance tuning. So you know that basically even if you look at the core database tuning, like performance tuning is, there are two types, proactive tuning and reactive tuning. First we are starting with the proactive tuning, E-Business Suite performance tuning. So proactive and reactive both. First we will be starting the proactive tuning. So in proactive tuning we are going to talk about like how we are going to manage performance, E-Business Suite manage performance. How we can manage EBS performance through configuration, through routine maintenance tasks, preventive tasks. So proactive tuning is all about managing performance, managing the performance, E-Business Suite performance. How you can manage the performance? Through proper, maintenance, through proper maintenance. So we first will start with this proactive tuning, managing the EBS performance. Here first I would like to start with under proactive tuning, managing the performance. So one of the way how we can manage EBS performance is through routine or day-to-day tasks. There are certain routine or day-to-day tasks. Day-to-day tasks you have to execute. So here, what are the day-to-day routine tasks we have to run? This is, you can call preventive maintenance. Preventive. This is a preventive approach. Preventive. Before something goes wrong, we are just preventing. Okay. Proactive tuning. So there are certain day-to-day tasks are there which you have to run, which you have to take care. Then you can maintain the same level of performance, same response. It's not that whatever the response you have, the response may not be same if you are not going to take care of it. So you on a daily basis you have to take care of it. You have to maintain it. Okay. But we'll discuss the detailed story. And then troubleshooting also we'll talk about. Reactive means troubleshooting. This is not the only thing, but today I'm going to discuss. But there are a lot of things. There are so many things we have to look at. But I'll give you a complete picture. In e-business suite, when does performance tuning begins? From beginning, okay? When does performance tuning exactly begin? And where does it end? Or there is no end? Where there is a beginning and where there is end? Or there is no end? Okay? So you have to understand the whole cycle of managing e-business suite performance. And in e-business suite, there is no one single component which you have to take care. There are multiple components in the delivery. Database, concurrent manager server, Apache, forms, and there are various application instances are there, OA core, form servlet, OAFM, isn't it? So all you have to tune. So there are multi-layers are there, right? Your DB tar, and within your application tar, again within application tar there are so many components are there, isn't it? You have to take care of concurrent managers, Apache, OA core application, the HTML based application. Okay, so we will start from the scratch. So when does exactly performance tuning, like how we have to start performance tuning? It all start from implementation. Implementation, I'm going to take you to implementation. Like say we don't have even the production instance. We don't have even the production instance. Right from implementation. So the implementation, who's going to do the implementation? The implementation team, functional consultant and technical developer. They are responsible for what? Implementation, isn't it? And this implementation, basically, during that implementation time, like from when exactly we have to start the production environment and what are the things we have to do. See, initially these functional guys and technical developer, they will be working on dev and test instances. And then they need production instances. And before they need production instance, we need to do what? We need to install the software. We need to install the software, we need to apply latest available patches, performance patches we have to apply. We have to configure, and even before that we also have to do server sizing now. Server sizing, like resources, your machine is, and you need to decide about your scalability, like whether you are going to have a single node initially or 2 node or 3 node. It all depends on your your implementation size, your number of concurrent users. So if you are talking about right from implementation, okay, implementation. So here the implementation team is going to do that. So if you look at the implementation methodology, just an idea, like, because then you will understand that from where exactly you have to start, preparing the things. If you are participating right from implementation. The method for implementation methodology, which is widely used, is called AIM methodology. AIM. This is AIM, application implementation methodology. Okay, this is Oracle's application implementation methodology. This methodology is consisting of 6 phases. 6 phases. 6 phases. As an apps DBA, you need to have the idea about this AIM methodology, which is consisting of 6 phases, right from implementation. And from which phase you come into picture and what we have to do. So that idea also you will get it. And particularly our focus is on tuning. Some companies, some organization, what they have done, they have customized this methodology, and they have used this Oracle methodology, and they made certain changes actually. So this methodology means direction, blueprint for your successful implementation, to successfully roll out application module. It's a blueprint. So it is a guidelines. It's nothing but it's a template. It's a set of documents which will guide you, will tell you how you can roll out e-business suite on time. So there are phases are there. So if you look at, there's an idea about these various so-called 6 phases. The first phase is called definition phase. Okay, definition phase. Definition phase. The second phase is called operations analysis phase. Operations analysis phase. The third is build phase. Build phase. Now if you look at, just an idea quickly, I'm not going to much in detail. Definition phase of the functional consultant will take care actually. They will define your business requirements, customization level, blah blah and all that, operation analysis, they will study your business. Okay. The technical speak must, you must know this. During the build phase, the functional consultant will perform setup and technical developer will do customizations. So that means, you understand, that means one minute, sorry. What's that? Definition phase, operation analysis phase, then solution design phase. What's that? Solution design. These are the 3 theoretical phases are there, and the 4th phase is build phase. Build. So now, during the build phase, the functional consultant will do setup, and technical developer will do customizations. So that means what you have to provide now as an apps DB? You have to provide what? Report. Test instance, dev instance, not production, test instances and dev instances. So where exactly technical developer and functional consultants will be doing all this setup, GL, API setup on test, dev instance they will be doing, and if they want to do any testing, where they will do test instance. So you need to provide them dev instances and test, not yet production. So imagine, even the production instance has not yet, it didn't born yet. So I'm talking right from there actually, okay. So now it's all about, so for that, like this, for that they require dev and test instances. So this is what we have to do. So you need to, so you are participating in implementation project, so you have to help this. Otherwise, where functional guys and technical developers are going to work? So who's going to provide them dev? So you have to install, apply the latest patches, and enable the license, and give dev instance and test instance. Okay. Doing the build. Now, if you look at the next phase is called transition phase. Next phase is called transition. Transition. In transition phase, what happens? You know, in transition phase, it is, you know, this is called migration, data migration, migrating data from a legacy system to e-business suite system. I can say 99% company, more than 99% companies who are going to implement Oracle e-business suite, we are calling implementation, but it is not an implementation, it is a migration from their point of view, because already they are using some system. Some system they are using, they might be using the old COBOL based system, some Fox Pro based system, some client server architecture, some in-house developed application, and now they want to migrate to e-business suite, or whether they want to any ERP, SAP, whatever. So when that's called the migration. So they have to migrate, yeah, they are migrating to e-business suite, fine, no problem. They are getting new things, but they want the data from the old system, legacy system. So the data, so this technical developer will migrate the data from that legacy system to e-business suite system. Okay, transition phase. So now you understand, in transition system, actually of course testing will be done, but finally, now where they will be doing the actual transition, look at it. Then 6th and the final phase is production phase. Production means go live. Go live. But these 2 phases are very important for us actually, this all 3 phases. Okay, here build phase, you need to provide dev and test instances. Here in the transition phase itself, you need to provide which instance? Production. Because production go live means before that it should be there. And you must have the production instance ready, because all the data will be migrated from legacy system to your production system. And when users are going to connect to the production system, they want all the data which was there in legacy system. You understand? So as an apps DBA, you are going to be active from which phase? Build phase. These are the standard 6 phases of your AIM methodology, Oracle AIM methodology. Okay, so these all are theory paperwork. Okay, and then this build phase, transition phase, production phase, these are very important actually. Functional guys, and then we have to work together. So it's not we are going to migrate the data, technical developer will migrate the data, but we have to make things ready actually. And now look at that, the question here. Now we have to provide them the production instance. And before production instance, what are the things you have to do? So we need, like now for production instance, we need the physical machines we need, right? The hardware we need, right? And now the question is how you're going to calculate the hardware, how you're going to decide how many CPUs you need to have. That comes. So performance tuning begins now. Performance tuning begins now. Now performance tuning begins. You have not installed, you didn't install it yet, but the performance tuning begins now. So it starts with what? Server sizing, which is a part of capacity planning. Server sizing we have to do. Server sizing. Server sizing means you need to calculate how many processors they need, how much RAM is required. Later I will give you some formula, but I'll tell you it is based on number of concurrent users. Number of concurrent users, transaction rate, size of database. How many processors you need in a system would depend on your load actually, and that load is coming from your concurrent sessions, active sessions. So based on that we calculate how many processors we need, how much RAM is required, how much space is required. The most important thing is your processor and your memory. Okay, so you got it. So because you see, I have I saw in some of the production environment they were facing performance problem actually. Overall system running slow. Now this is the complaint. Our overall response time is down. Every report, every job, every transaction, every single thing running slow. Everything. So you know what? You must ask questions, You must investigate. You must find out more details actually. Don't jump. Most of the DBA they jump actually. Okay, somebody saying that my query is running slow, and now he's doing tracing. This is unnecessary. This is not the real approach to tuning actually. You must comfortable first. You understand the problem actually. Now somebody is saying that my query running slow and you are doing tracing. This is illogical. No sense. This is no sense thing. No sense. This is nonsense. No sense. Nonsense. Okay. Directly jumping actually. Suicide. This is we call suicide. Okay. No jumping. You spend time first understanding. Somebody is saying and you're jumping and start doing tracing. No. The later actually. Okay. Now see, somebody is saying that the client was saying that overall response time is very bad actually. Okay, fine. Nothing, no check system. Okay, then since how long? From last 3-4 weeks. Very bad. It was okay. Okay. Then still jumping. No jumping. What you have done? It was okay before that. 3 weeks, and now suddenly performance is something has gone wrong actually. Something has changed. Impossible. I'm saying impossible. No change, no reaction. Impossible. No action, no reaction. You understand? If there is no action, there will be no reaction. If there is a reaction, means there will be definitely some action. Every action will have an equal and opposite reaction, isn't it? No, my job is query running slow. Something has changed. I'm saying I'm saying direct. I'm saying impossible. I'm using the word direct, impossible. Direct word impossible. I'm saying impossible. I'm telling you. So everything is perfect. Okay, and now everything is downside. Impossible. Means unless something has changed. No, nothing has changed. Impossible. I'm saying impossible. Something has changed. Please. So what now we have to trace that change? You are saying that from last 3 weeks it happened, right? So what is the change? We're tracing change. Okay, find out all that. It takes time. Patience takes time. What change? You know what? We got the change. Basically, they were using few models. Then what they did, they added 3-4 new modules, and the number of concurrent users almost nearly double. It was 45 to 60, and it got double, near 100, nearly double. You understand? And when the number of concurrent sessions got double, and they added more modules, when the rate of transaction got double, then they started facing performance problem. So that means the system was not supporting the new load. This was a cause. The new load, the system was not managing. When there was earlier load, the system was happy. When there is an increase in the load, system saying rejecting that. So that was a cause actually. And then we will look at all the resources and all that actually. So did they do proper configuration? Did they apply patches? Okay, everything was looking fine, okay. But the major problem was that in this one example I'm there, it may not be every case actually. The problem was that they did not do proper sizing. So whatever the resources they had, the CPU and RAM was good for that previous load, but not for the new load. So when we are doing sizing, server sizing, it is not we have to calculate today's load, but even tomorrow load actually. How the load is going to increase over a period of time. Okay. So let us start with this first. So you got it this. So now I will tell you when does actually what, from where we have to start the tuning actually. Okay. So it was a mistake of the implementation team actually. They did not properly calculate the resources actually. Whatever they recommended to the client, they recommended according to the current requirement. How many concurrent users you have? 100 concurrent users. Okay, fine, you can have 2 processors initially, fine, no problem. But why you're looking for today requirement? How many you have? 60. Oh, 100 now. So 2 processors. But when it is going more than 100, then they are going to definitely have what? Problems. Okay. So the client will be, then what we used to tell them client very clearly, that if you have these resources, the system with these resources can support up to this load. That's it. If your load is increasing, means you have to add more resources. Scalability must be always there. Okay, you need to scale up. You need to add more resources. Otherwise, the current system will not support. You are definitely going to have performance problem. Okay. Yeah, like see, I have seen so many instances where there are a lot of resources are there, but there are performance problem because of not properly configured. They have not done configuration. That is also a factor. So now they're starting with server sizing. So we have to start with server sizing. And once server sizing is done, now after that what you're going to do? Server sizing, and now you're doing what? Installation. Well, installation means, okay, installation, or actually you can say cloning actually. Why? Because see, installation or clone, because already setup has been done, dev instance has been ready. Now we are not doing again installation. So the same instance, dev instance we can use, same dev which has been already set up. Okay, cloning, or you can say preparing the production instance ready, production instance. Okay, so you through cloning, because dev instance is already ready, you convert the dev instance to what? You convert the dev instance to production instance, isn't it? Convert to production instance. And then here we start actually, okay? Then apply latest patches. Latest patches. Again you have to check patches. Latest product specific patches. Please go. Latest products patches. Again. But then particularly you have to apply performance patches, because our talk is going on performance patches. Yes, there are performance patches. Apply performance patches. Now, how do you know the latest patches? Well, you can get this information in Orcus. How do you get the information of performance patches? This is very important again. You need to follow this particular document very seriously. 2440, this is the document ID, and this document ID will give you the information of all the performance related patches. 2440.40.1. This is very important. Every time you have to particularly apply performance patches. There are patches to even improve the performance. There are patches especially to performance improvement is there, yes. These patches are for every module. Database patches are also there for performance improvement, GL, AP, AOL, AD module, especially for only performance, only improving performance. Understand? So these documents, like, of course, during the production time also you have to apply, but initially first you have to apply all these patches, performance patches. So when you are going to release the production instance, you are going to release the production instance after, you know what, either you say installation or cloning, your production instance is ready, and then you apply all the product specific patches, performance patches, and then after you have to spend some time here. You have to spend some time here, and then you release it. And where you have to spend time, that's all about configuration. Okay, now you have applied the patches and all that, and now you have to do EBS configuration, e-business suite configuration, e-business suite configuration. And this configuration for each individual module, each individual component, for database, concurrent, you understand? So now configuration, e-business suite configuration. That configuration for your database, your concurrent manager server, okay, your OC4J instances, for your OC4J instances, okay, your form service, your Apache service, especially these are the major components. You cannot just install and just hand over to, no, then there will be always performance problem. there will be always performance problem. Okay? If you just say installation and or the implementation is done and we applied the patches and then now it is in the production and users have started using it. So initially there will be no problem. Initially, because the load will not, no, never. But after certain times they will feel it. Every end user will feel it that things are going down, bad. Performance is very important. Every report running slowly. So initially we have to spend time, configuration, and then it is, you can say live, go live, production. Means now you can leave it, release, production release. You can say production release, now production release. Now give it to production. Now users can start. Okay, step by step actually. Before releasing in the production, you have to make sure always latest product patches, performance patches, configuration. So these all I'm going to tell you. We will discuss all this. So how you are going to configure database, how you are going to configure CMS, OC4J instances, forms, we are going to discuss all this configuration. All this configuration we will discuss. Okay. But today in this session I am going to start with this. So you must know how you are going to, so you think that you install and leave it? No, you need to configure database, you need to configure concurrent management, you need to configure OC4J instance, you need to configure form server, you need to define your database parameters, initialization parameters. You can't leave it. And I have seen many instances, many implementation where they have not spent proper time in configuration and then later they are having performance problem. So we'll discuss about this. Now, you see, now you have done two things here from the performance point of view. One, sizing, very good sizing, resources, fine, we have good resources. Second, you have done the good configuration, you spend time and you have done good configuration of database, you must do good, and not do one thing, you leave it, now leave it. Things will be okay for some time, again user will come to you, again user will chase you. You think still your job is done? No, your job is not done. Your job is not done. Now it comes to what? Production. Now day-to-day routine tasks will begin. Now in the production, now it is live, your production, now your production live. Production live means users are using. Here you have to do what? You have to do maintenance, performance maintenance, performance maintenance, performance maintenance. You don't maintain performance, again performance will go down. You understand? So it's a cycle actually. Performance maintenance. So here in performance maintenance, you have some routine or day-to-day task. This is exactly what we're going to start. Preventive maintenance. So these are the routine tasks you have to run on a daily regular basis. Then you can say performance is going to be same level, maintain same level. You understand? So first what you have to do, the second sizing, then setup configuration, and then day-to-day task. So performance tuning is everyday job, 100%, everyday job, every day, every hour job. Monitoring is what? Monitoring is a part of tuning. If you have proactive monitoring strategy, through that proactive monitoring, you know that where things are going wrong, where performance is going down, so that you can have a quick approach. You can quickly fix these bottlenecks, isn't it? Performance bottleneck, you can quickly fix if you have good monitoring strategy. So monitoring you have to do every time, from morning to evening. During the peak time you have to monitor, isn't it? So it's a daily job, isn't it? So on a daily routine basis, what are the jobs you have to run? First, let's start with this. And then next, how you are going to configure database and OC4J, all that we'll discuss. So that means e-business suite is a very highly configured product, highly configured. The more you configure, the more good response you can expect. Okay. It's not like it's everything coming by. No. Just imagine, you install e-business suite software, SGA nowhere, PGA nowhere, no single parameter is properly defined. You have to make sure that every block size, okay, DB block size is okay, 8K they are using. Extend size, your data files. Imagine, I'm just giving an idea about your data files. Where are your data files? Where are you going to keep your data files? Which rate level you are using? What is the size of your online logs? Log switching. All that you have to do it. There is nothing you install and leave it. No. After installation, you do all these things. So this part exactly we will be discussing in configuration, under the configuration, e-business suite configuration. So let's start with routine day-to-day tasks for performance maintenance, preventive tasks. So you can call them, these are all just preventive maintenance or preventive tasks. Preventive maintenance tasks. First, you know that your e-business suite right from level 9 is using cost-based optimizer. E-business suite right from level 9 using cost-based optimizer, and cost-based optimizer requires statistics. You know, optimizer, query optimizer, SQL or Oracle optimizer. So this optimizer basically create execution plan based on the statistics. So who's going to manage these statistics? We as an Ops DB. Okay. So here what you have to do actually, the first most important part is managing optimizer statistics. CBO, cost-based optimizer, you know, in short, optimizer statistics. So managing statistics means you have to, of course, you have to gather, you have to make sure that the current up-to-date latest statistics has been gathered. Okay, and you have to gather statistics for the schema. For which schema? Depending on the modules. How many modules we are using actually? So you are using somewhere 8 modules you are using, GL, AP, like 8 modules. For this 8 module, 8 schema, you don't need to gather statistics for the whole database. Now you need to do this. You need to take care of this. If you look at some knowledge you need to have here. 10G, Oracle is automatically gathering the statistics. That you have to disable. In 10G, by default, the database statistics gathered for the whole database. That you have to disable. It's not required. And in database, we gather statistics using a package. What's the name of the package? dbms_stats. But in Oracle Business Suite, yeah, the same package is used, but not directly. There is a package called fnd_stats. But internally we call it this only. But we are going to use this package in e-business Suite. So in e-business Suite, particularly how you gather statistics. For which module you gather statistics. What should be the frequency? How frequently you have to gather statistics. You want to maintain performance, you have to be serious about this. You have to learn more about optimizer, you have to learn more about optimizer statistics. And not only that, you need to configure optimizer also. Optimizer related parameters are there, initialization parameters are there, which again I will tell you in the configuration file. You know optimizer parameter, optimizer_mode, optimizer index cost, adjacent, optimizer feature. These are initialization parameters in your parameter file which you need to set. Okay. In most of the production environment I have seen, they are having performance problem. When we are looking at just one example, when we are looking at the initialization parameters, most of the initialization parameters, they did not even touch it. All the default values are there. That itself is one of the biggest problems. Most of the parameters are not changed actually. Okay. So this is one part actually. So in e-business suite, and here, okay, Oracle has provided concurrent programs. There are concurrent programs are there. If you want to gather statistics for a particular table, or if you want to gather statistics for a particular module, there are concurrent programs have been given. Gather schema statistics, gather table, and those concurrent programs internally calling this package, fnd_stats. And fnd_stat is calling this dbms_stats. So you look at this, how you gather the statistics, okay? The frequency of this statistics collection would depend on how frequently the transactions are going on. For certain modules, you can gather every day. Certain modules you can gather every alternate or weekly also. For certain tables, you may have to gather twice a day also. For certain tables, I'm saying. Okay, so this is all about how the frequent the transactions are going on, the rate of transaction. If there are more transactions are going on, there is a more change, and more change in the data pattern. That means you have to regather the statistics. So this is one part about this. So you have to first, and this is a core DB only. This is not a special something new in e-business suite. In core database, you have learned how to gather statistics. In e-business suite, you have to gather statistics. But very important part, you don't gather and you see how performance will go down actually. Second important part is purging data. Regularly, you have to purge data. Regularly purge the system generated data. Now here, of course, I'll tell you, you must know the purging strategy. Purging is all about deleting, right? Deleting the data, right? Here, I'm here particularly using the word system data, the purging system data. You know, purging system data means, what I'm talking about here is, purging system data means the data which is generated to support certain other transactions. Like for example, when a user submit concurrent request, what happened? Concurrent request data is generated now. Log file will be generated, output file will be generated. Your concurrent request goes to FND concurrent request table. When you submit one request, one row will be inserted into FND request table, and there are other tables also there. I gave you the list of other tables also, right? And now these tables are growing. Just imagine these tables are growing. The request has been submitted, completed, user got the output, but still that request information is still lying in the same database. Still those output files are lying in the file system. And as a result, after some time, the concurrent request job will run slow. Why they are running slow? Because your table is growing, the corresponding indexes get fragmented. The index get fragmented, and as an overall result, your concurrent requests are running slow. So no, we have to regularly what? Purge the data. Like concurrent request data is there. Sign on only data. When a user login, sign on only data. There are tables are there. FND underscore sign on, FND underscore logins, FND answers. Just imagine when you, I think you know that how to enable sign on audit. You saw that there is a profile, correct? Audit trail. Then you can monitor users. The problem here is that if a user login, every user will first time enter wrong password at least 2-3 times. You also people do that, right? We also do that when we are going to log into our email. You think that first time you can enter the correct password? No. Sometimes we enter wrong password, again we enter correct password, right? So even if you enter wrong password, just imagine, just look at that, the problem. If you enter one wrong password also, one row will be inserted. Imagine. See, just imagine the level of performance problem. A user is going to log in, he enter a wrong password, one transaction. Big problem, right? One transaction. Performance problem, one transaction, yeah, doesn't understand. He's entering wrong password. There is a table is there. FND underscore unsuccessful underscore login. Get populated. Imagine, commit. On an average, 100 users are logging, they enter wrong password. 100 transactions. Imagine. See, a user unnecessary by mistake opening a form. For him nothing. But one session will be started in Oracle database. One session. If you open one form, one session will be started. By mistake he has opened, but there is no mistake backend. Okay? So these all problems, right? So there are so many guidelines are there for tuning, you have to understand. Anyway, that is one part. Second part is, okay, but how this data, so it is going to be there. Our user has logged in 10 days back, but still the data is there. And now, whenever user login, the login process becomes slow. Why? Because lot of data. So again, what we have to do? Purging. So practically, you are going to see in this part how to purge concurrent request data, how to purge sign-on audit data, and there is a workflow obsolete data is also there because workflow will be discussed later. Workflow. So these are the data which we have to, and this I'm clearly saying the system data. Now, as far as the business data is concerned, the business data means the financial data, the accounting data, the general ledger data, the payroll data. These data must also be regularly archived and purged. Archive and purge. Archive means take the backup and purge. Okay. But when you join any organizations, so you must know the strategy. You must find out what is your strategy of this archiving and purging. That means how frequently you are taking the backup and purging the data. That we must find out actually. Like we are not going to do the GL data, AR data, AP data. Okay. So it happens actually. In one of the mid-sized company, it was a mid-sized company. They were having performance problem. So they were using Oracle application for last 5 years. Okay. They had some performance problems. And when we found that that particular system had 5 years data. 5 years data. You understand? 5 years data. So you think that if a production instance running from last 5 years, 6 years, should it contain 5 years or 6 years data? It should contain how much data? Recent data, which is required for business. Some data you must retain for your, according to the government regulations, accounting purpose, 1 year, 2 years. Some sales for management information system, for your reporting purpose, you have to retain some data. Sales information, 3 months, 6 months maximum. But why 5 years? You know what was the reply of the client? It was one of the manufacturing company in Singapore. What was the reply, you know? Purging, we don't know. Who told us? We know, nobody told us. Like this. So it is also a case. It is also one of the case. You understand? See, there are two extreme examples. There are two extreme examples. We have one places the e-business suite setup is ultimate, the best. But these unfortunately few. Majority places the situation is, I define it horrible. The word horrible. I'm saying horrible. I'm saying. And there you have good opportunity. You can play your role. Okay? You understand? There are certain places they are using e-business suite. You know, the performance, the setup, the multi-load balancing, shared abstract, blah blah. Oh, excellent. I'm saying. So you think that every organization using e-business, there are certain situations, the horrible. I'm saying. Oracle production database, system password also you may find manager also. Production database, system table space is in use. So you will find it also. So there are both extreme examples are there actually, okay? So you should not think that, oh, everything they have done and I'm not going to take any steps. So we have to do this. So this is very important part of the purging strategy. How frequently they are purging the data. Otherwise you have to tell them, like you have to purge the data. Okay, let me quickly tell you. You know what, how they purge this? We are not going to do that. GL, APN. In every module, there are predefined concurrent programs are there. In GL, in inventory, the name of the program is something like this. Archive and purge GL data. Archive and purge. So that particular program when we run, it will archive, means it will export the data into some other table and delete from actual transaction table. So that from there you can again take the backup and you can finally you can delete it. So there is a process is there, okay? Generally, functional consultant or the super user who are specially trained among the end users, they are doing this job. But we must know what is the strategy. We must know that actually. Okay, we must know this strategy. And quickly I will tell you one thing. See, you cannot do performance tuning, for example, if you leave the life of some of the apps DBA. If you leave the life of some of the apps DBA, you can't be a good apps DBA, you can't learn anything, and you can't survive for a long time. Okay, for the namesake, you have to live your life as an apps DBA. You know, what are the example? I must tell that. Okay, I'm not wasting my time and your time, but I must tell them. One guy was asking me, he's a senior, 3 years apps DBA, he's asking me, you know, I'm facing one problem, my report is running slow, one application, people are telling me this problem. I said, okay, cool, sit down, okay, explain me what is the problem. Finally, I go, okay, tell me, okay, you are facing, can you tell me what is the module they are using? Which module then? Module, I don't know. Your life is waste. You're a waste guy. How can you solve? I told you, you are not an apps DB. You're wasting your time actually. You are trying to solve a problem and you're working in a production environment. There is one organization you're working as an apps DBA. You are working there as an apps DBA and you don't know how many modules are in use and you are trying to solve the problem. See? So first you have to go what? Find out this. There are most of the people are there working as in production DBA. They don't know most of the production, which application is used, what is the production server configuration, what is the server machine configuration. Either you find out or you ask and get the complete details actually. You must have all the details with you. You understand? So this is a requirement actually. If you want to be good in tuning and all overall, you find out the details actually. You know, how many modules they have licensed, which module they are using, and for which module the transaction, for each module how many concurrent users are there. You believe me, I'll tell you, you know what I used to do? Yeah, this is, yeah. You know, sometimes I used to go and sit with end user. He doesn't know anything about computers, I'm telling you. I used to sit with end user and try to ask him how you enter transaction, you know, to make up, to understand the transaction flow actually, I'm telling you. So you are learning performance from a guy who doesn't know what is Oracle. Imagine. I used to learn, if you ask me from whom you learn, I will say I have learned from Lena. I have learned from the guy who doesn't know what is Oracle. From them, they are my guru, they are my instructors. I learn from them actually. So because they are the people who understand application, who understand business flow. So you must understand application, you must understand the transaction, more about that, then you understand the back end, you understand everything. Without that, you can't do anything here. You understand? You don't understand application, don't understand the rate of transaction, how users are running job, during what time, what users are doing, what data they are entering, which modules users are using. You don't understand this, it is all waste. Understand my point? So this is very important. So this is a part of purging. Here you will be looking at system management. I found that in e-business suite, this is very important. Managing the indexes are very important. Indexes, especially B3 indexes are used mostly, and they get fragmented a lot of times. So table fragmentation issue. In fact, I can say this is exactly called the fragmentation issues. And this is core your core DBA part actually. So most exactly, table fragmentation, index fragmentation. So you know, understand? So this is very important actually. That's why if you want to have no fragmentation table issues, almost you want to fix, better you use locally managed table space. That means you have to use what? Which table space model you have to use? Application table space model. We discussed, right? Application table space model. All are what? LMT, ASSM. Locally managed table space with automatic segment space management. So you have to use OATM, Oracle Application Table Space Model. In that model, they are using all locally managed table space with automatic segment space management. Okay, so you don't need to worry about free list, pct3, percentage use, pct use. You don't need to define all these attribute parameters. Otherwise, it's a big help, big problem. So indexes and overall table fragmentation you have to do on a daily basis, because a lot of transactions are going on. This transaction make a lot of indexes, because Oracle people using a lot of indexes. And you know what? When there are more DML operations going on, delete, insert, and all that, they make these indexes, all the indexes fragmented. So you need to find out the index fragmentation, and you have to rebuild the indexes, rebuilding of indexes. And here, particularly, when you're doing rebuild indexes, you use parallel features. You must use parallel features. Like for example, and you must configure parallel in your database. You must configure parallel. For example, alter index, index name, rebuild, online, parallel degree you have to use, so that you can do this job faster. One idea I'll give you how you can use parallelism. Alter index, index name, okay, rebuild, online. You must always use online. Okay. Listen, if you're using online, what happens? Online means it will not permanently lock the table. If you don't use online keyword, when you're rebuilding index, the table will be locked. Okay. But in 10G, the behavior is that only certain time the table will be locked, and now in Oracle 11G, Oracle is claiming that there will be total no lock. When you're rebuilding index, there will be no lock on the table. That means when you're rebuilding index, the table can be used for transaction. But in 10G, it is not yet. In 10G, not yet. When you're rebuilding index, sometimes the table will be locked, and during the period of lock, the transactions will be waiting.
Alter index name server.
Yeah, that's it. It is index. Rebuild online. Here you have to use this parallel degree. Parallel and open bracket, and degree you have to specify. So for example, say degree 10 and all that. That is depending on your DOP, degree of parallelism. DOP, degree of parallelism. So to make things fast. Anyway, this topic is something different, but this is not part of your routine task. But when you are rebuilding indexes, make sure you are going to use parallel features, parallel degrees, so that you can do the job fast. So the main topic discussion is that, okay, you have to take care of indexes, fragmented indexes, tables also. And then next, you have to pin, unpin database object. Pin, unpin, pin, and unpin. Okay, pin. What do you have to pin? Frequently accessed database object. Frequently accessed database objects. What are the database objects? Like PL SQL packages, database sequences, especially PL SQL packages, procedures, or database sequences you can pin in the memory. It's a good strategy of pinning, because application will make a lot of use of procedures. When an application is calling a procedure, the procedure is stored in the database, and that procedure has to be loaded from database from disk to memory every time. And the loading will take more time. Until that, then the application is waiting. Now how you can reduce this waiting time, this loading time? Just imagine if the application is calling a procedure and it is already available in memory, so no need to load it. So how you are going to make this all the frequent access procedures already available in the memory? By pinning them. And which part of the memory? Library cache. And then there is a guidelines has been given. You must pin up to 25%. 25%. You should not pin too much also. That will also create problem. Up to 20% of shared pool area. Up to 20% of shared pool area. Shared pool area. And you can calculate, you can look at that actually. Your shared pool is 120, suppose your shared pool size is 600 MB. 600 MB. So 128 MB you can use for pinning. So all the objects which are pinned should not occupy more than 20% of your shared pool size. Pinning. And it's a very good strategy. And then you must find out when they are not accessed, that time you remove them. Unpin. When they are accessed, you pin them. Okay? And I can say the single important, only one view is a core database level. One view If you ask me which object I should pin, how should I know that frequent object was getting reloaded multiple times, so that that is a good candidate for pinning? How should I know? Single view only, $3 object cache. This will tell you object name, whether they are pinned, kept or no kept. Yes, pinned. Reload, how many times? If an object is getting reloaded 2 times, 3 times, oh, it's a good candidate for pinning. If an object is getting reloaded only 1 time, means okay, no time. 2 times, 3 times means what? It is a good to pin them.
So 2 times per day or
During the time actually, whatever the time you use.
operation time?
Peak time, during the peak time.
If the object is changed, then you have to repin it.
If the object is
Changed.
no,
Some
no,
media
no,
has been-
nothing. But when you if you bounce, you have to pin again. If you stop the services, you have to pin again. Understood? It is pin as long as the instance is running.
Even if the changes are at the level of DDL changes of that package is affected, then you have to repin, flash it and repin, or it will take automatically the new one which has been changed.
Because every time you are pinning, na, so no problem. Okay, if you are making physical changes, again you have to pin it. Again you have to pin it. You unpin and pin if you are making physical changes. But if you are making object level changes, no problem. But code level changes, COD, code level changes, again you have to pin. Because that code is already pinned and this code is changed, na?
Yes, yes.
So you have to change. So this in e-business suite, these are the good things you have to do. And plus, of course, there are so many other things are there. One of the important areas, the monitoring is one of the key important areas there. See, actually today, I think you people have spent most of the time, we discuss upgradation only. So in performance tuning, only this part we will discuss today, because practically you have to see how you're going to gather statistics, how you're going to purging data. This 2 part is very important. Okay. And then the remaining part, like, you know, as I said, how you're going to configure OC4J, Java virtual memory, form server, concurrent manager configuration, all that we're going to discuss in next session. Okay. More about tuning, troubleshooting. If a particular request, you know, this is all about reactive. A user will call you, say that my request used to take 30 seconds, 40 seconds. Now my request is running from last 5 minutes. My request is running from last 10 minutes. It is still running 10 minutes. So what do you do actually? You understand? So the request used to take 1 minute, now taking 30 minutes. So how you're going to troubleshoot this? A user will call you, say that whatever jobs I'm running, they are running slow. All my jobs are running slow. So what do you do? So we'll discuss all these troubleshootings. So what should be your first step? What is the first thing you're going to do? This is all about proactive tuning, then reactive tuning. Okay, monitoring and troubleshooting.
Sir, alter index rebuild online parallel it was. Is it a 11G feature, sir? Or 10G
No. It's old. It's right from.
Parallel is not about locking or unlocking the.
No. Parallel is all about running faster. Parallel worker, AD workers,
Okay.
multiple workers.
So what is that, sir? Without unlocking the data table, you need to.
Online.
Online is the 11G feature.
No, online is right from ATA it was there,
Okay.
but still it used to lock certain times.
From 11G it is there.
Even if you use the keyword online, Oracle used to say that you use online, there will be no lock, but it was not true. It is to lock certain time. But from 11G now saying a true online rebuilding, meaning it is never going to lock the table during the time of rebuilding of index.
Sir, you told when we revisit those places where horrible implementations are there, what are those aspects we need to question them? Kindly let us know, sir. Like something like your report server configuration, if you know, settings, configurations, if you can state it out.
Most of the things, the stability, like, you know, like in terms of patches, all the patches and the setup information. Some functional consultant help is also required. I have seen so many setup where functional people have not done proper setup, and then the lack of so many patches, stability. Okay, so these are all we have to take care. And then the most important, the configuration. They have not properly configured the things. So if you can take care of all these things, then again it will come to a proper state.
Configuration, patching, setup information,
Setup.
and the server and the hardware details, hardware information.
Okay, and it's a fact, huh? Most of the places. Recently I gone in Hyderabad only. There was one instance where one team, I think from maybe Mahindra Satyam was there. They came, they implemented few modules. Again, there was a problem. They wanted to implement in 6 months. It took 1 year, and they implemented 7 modules. and then they didn't successfully implement it. It's still not. It's going into production. Few models are working, few models are not. Like these, many places, many places. So that means stability has to be, and it's a teamwork. Functional consultant, apps DB, and all that, they work together hard. You know, like if they find out every issue, problem, and they fix every problem issues, then everything will be normal. So we will continue more inshallah.